in a place where he's got really bad internet connection, and we did everything we could for the past 15 minutes, whatever it's been, trying to get him up so that support this work. So with that out of the way, we had such a good lineup. Brian was going to talk about some of his thoughts on his recent work that he's got going on. He's working on about 3 different books that are coming to fruition now. They're, as usual, anything to do with Alsa-True is wide open with Brian. When I first met Brian, I got to say, and he'd have one of those mega churches or something good side, and I'm going to kind of try to summarize just a few things that he mentioned to me in the notes. We talk back and forth to each other before these programs, and I try to get an idea from my guest, what is it that you want to talk about? What points do you want to get across? What areas do you want to emphasize? And with Brian, it's almost always his new material, because he is the most prolific writer I know. I was talking with Edward Thorson the other day, and he said that he tries to write 750 words, I believe it was, a day. And that's a lot. But I think that Brian must even break that, because I said to him, Brian, how many books have you written now? And he couldn't think of an actual number. He said, I don't know, about 40. So he cranks them out. He's a man who takes the material that we work with, things like the Eddas and the other source material, and he processes it, and he turns it into things for people's life, people's real life, what issues people have, people's goals, people's fears, people's aspirations, all those things that make up our lives. And I think that's why Brian is so popular with a lot of people. And I just wish we could have had him with us tonight, but it wasn't going to work. Some of the topics, we were going to talk about beauty in our religion, beauty in the lore. Every time a man brushes up against beauty, he finds inspiration. That's a direct quote in his notes to me. He talks about imagery offered by Bragi in the Prosetta, every bit as influential as the composition of Mozart or Bach, or the landscapes of Bierstadt or Ansel Adams. So he's thought a lot about this, as you can tell. He says, it's the kind of thing which might inspire someone to say, I follow this faith because it provides my life with positive.
Why are you using Google? Togoda, the only 100% private thematic AI search engine in the world, is here, and it's totally free. Try it today.
Purpose, guidance, and direction, instead of, I follow this faith because of what some scholar says. So it's from the heart, which I think is only right. I mean, I believe in the scholarship. I respect the scholarship, but the scholarship is factual, not emotional. It can convey the facts, but it can't convey the spirit. What Brian is getting at is that it does provide the spirit if we look into it, if we take the tales and we perceive the tales aright and we work with that material. Now, I'm not trying to put my words in his mouth, but I think that he would probably agree with what I've said here. He's writing 2 books in particular. One of those is the one on beauty, and the other one is going to have a really killer cover because we know the gal who does it, Milena Robbins, who is a great Alsa-True artist. She's one of the gals that we have out at the Hoff, pretty much every weekend, and she is just a really excellent artist, and she's really blossoming. So that gives you some idea of what we were going to cover, what we were going to talk about. And so just keep that as a teaser. When he gets to some place in the near future it's got better internet service, we're going to try this again, because Brian's got a lot to say. I don't want you to have to depend upon my interpretation of what Brian says. Look him up on Amazon or wherever, and you will find, presumably, something like 40 40 titles. Check it out. Um, people respond to what he writes, and you certainly couldn't hurt to take a good look at it. So that's what I've got from Brian Wilton. I can go a couple of different ways with the rest of this program. There's one topic I want to cover in a minute that has been festering on my mind in these last few weeks. The last few weeks, and I'm looking now at the world external to Asatru. The world out there has been in turmoil, and some very ominous things are shaping up. I don't want to get too political because this is supposed to be a spiritual program. It's not that I don't have political opinions. I kind of do. If anybody, yeah, Dave's chuckling in the background. Yeah, a little bit. So, I'm just trying to keep out of the slam, man. But also, I know we've got a number of people who were queued up to follow all of this. If you've got questions you want to ask about anything I'm saying, or if you've got other questions, even if they're kind of off topic, I'll be glad to address some of those. So this is, well, it's not exactly open mic because you don't have a mic, but it's open ideas. And so, I'll have Dave there. He'll be kind of scanning through things, and if he sees that somebody's got a question, then he'll pop that on me, and we'll see if we can work that into what we're doing. So this is kind of free form, fast flowing. I hope it'll go really well, and I'll do my very best to keep this as interesting and informative as I possibly can. So, with that said, what I'm about to say now is sort of the bare bones of a talk that I'll be giving to a group of men in the near future. But really, it doesn't just apply to men. I think men have a particular aspect on it, but I think that it's absolutely important to the women who follow our way as well. And this kind of has to reflect back on those exterior things that are going on out there. I'm going to stall by having some green tea. Things on the political scale look really ugly right now. And I don't think any of us know where this is going to go. And I've spent a lot of time thinking about that for a number of days. I think, in a way, we're heading into a new conversion era. Back to the Dark Ages, guys. We are going into a sort of a new Dark Age. I don't mean technologically. We're still going to have all our gadgets. We're going to have all our toys. I mean, the social media isn't going to miss a beat, unfortunately. But in the spiritual sense, we are facing a lot of pressure from without. You don't have to be a real white nationalist, and you certainly, sure as heck, do not have to be a white supremacist to get doxxed, to get suppressed, to get lumped in with the very worst in any of those categories. It's like there's not any distinction between a folkish perspective and one that is much more radical. The world outside of us doesn't see those differences. You and I do. We understand that this really isn't about hating other people. I mean, duh. I mean, stuff on that for years and years and years. I have literally put my ass on the line for people of all races and all religions. And I'll do it again because I know that life is about concentric circles. Here's the circle that is closest to me. My immediate kin, my family, those people who are really dialed in on the same page as I'm dialed in. And then there's the people out here. They're a little farther out in terms of being not quite part of the in group, but they're still tight and they're still folk. And out here we have another layer, and out here another layer. And ultimately we have all of our folk as one big concentric circle. And beyond that concentric circle, there are still other people who are not bad people. I get that. You get that. The world out there doesn't get that. With them, it's all extremism. And you and I know that that's nonsense. But what we have to do is go into this age of deplatforming, this age of doxing, this age of suppression, knowing that we've been through this before. We went through this when the missionaries came to the north. We went through this when we couldn't practice our faith in the open. We went through this when our leaders were being harassed, and thank goodness they're not burning any of us yet, but they sure as heck might put some people in prison who don't need to go to prison. I could see that. I'm just calling it like I see it. Hopefully I'm wrong. But take strength from the experience of our ancestors. Take focus from our ancestors. Take perseverance. Take courage. Take, in fact, optimism from our ancestors. We've been suppressed before. We've been lied about before. We've been misbranded before. We've been persecuted before. And doing it again is not going to be that big a deal. We must respond with courage, with heart. We must respond with intelligence. And we have to link those things together and work them into something that will get us through the hard times and give us victory. And by victory, I mean simply the freedom to put our views out there, the freedom, true freedom of speech like we're supposed to have in this country. We're not really getting that right now. The way that we respond to this will determine in many ways the outcome. I'm looking at some of the traits that I jotted down just a few minutes ago, down when we were trying to get Brian up and get his internet working and all of that. I sat down with this piece of lined paper and I started jotting words. What do we have to have with us in here? We have to have common sense. Common sense. Part of common sense is understanding what the other person is thinking. Part of common sense is understanding that your words are going to be understood or misunderstood by people. And so use common sense in what you're saying. Don't go all freaky radical on people. I don't think that most of the people listening to this are inclined to do that anyway, thank goodness. But for all of you out there who, and I'm not disparaging you, but the truth is, all of you who consider yourself edgelords and so forth, that's not always a good thing. Consider your audience. You've got to consider the audience you're trying to reach. Most of the American people will not respond well to that. Don't let your desire to be edgy, which one might say is a little bit of egotism, get the better of you. Use common sense. Optimism. Like I said a few minutes ago, we've been through this before. There's a saying that I stole from the Theodish folks out there. Garmin Lord, I believe it was, said, and I don't know if he was quoting an Anglo-Saxon text or not, he said, "The warrior is cheerful in adversity." The warrior is cheerful in adversity. We must keep that attitude. It's the way it is in a warrior situation. If you're in a squad or a platoon and everybody's down, people are all pissed off, things are not working well, things can get really ugly really quick. It's the same with us. Be cheerful in adversity. Man up to it, or woman up to it. Close enough. Take a hold of it. Grab that situation. Grab your own emotions. And especially when you're talking with others, transmit optimism. Don't be a downer. Keep people functioning by keeping them optimistic as the situation permits. Do not despair. Basically, we're talking courage and perseverance, two of the 9 noble virtues, as I recall. We could probably go through the whole list and find out how they apply to this age we're going into. Now, maybe I'm full of it, Maybe all this is going to blow over in 2 weeks, or maybe it's going to blow over in 2 months, or maybe it'll blow over after the election, or maybe it'll blow over 20 years from now, which is a lot of blow. But that really didn't come out the way I meant it. Anyway, we are entering a difficult time. And I don't know how it's going to shake out in terms of politics, legislation, censorship, investigations, red flags in regards to owning a firearm. Oh, that could get ugly pretty quick, couldn't it? Oh, this person belongs to a hate group, so this person can't own a weapon. You know where that would go real quick, and it wouldn't be nice. It would be ugly. So let's hope that doesn't go that direction. But we must be optimistic. We must stay true to each other. We've got to be tight with each other. Don't let the little bullshit get in the way. Never, ever, ever let little superficial stuff separate you from kin. We've got to make a metaphorical shield wall. I'm to the point where I hate that phrase because it's been so worked to death. I don't think I'll ever watch another Viking movie. Just kidding. Just kind of kidding. Almost kidding. That's the message I wanted to get to folks today. And if you have any questions about that or any comments on that or anything, let me know. Well, we can address that. So I intend to get through this combat effective, and no, for the censors listening, that is metaphorical speech. I will keep functioning. I will keep functioning openly. I will not curb my opinions, except to explain them in words that are true and not letting people's imagination run wild with them. So I'm in this for the long haul. You need to be in it for the long haul. Don't go, crawling in the bunker at this point. Stay in the positions where you can be effective, where you can do something that will help your folk, something that will help get through this. Take care of each other. Your buddy gets doxxed, be right there with them. Stand tough. Think tough. Oppose this. Tough. Remember, we've been here before. We've got this. What do you think, Dave?
You got me all fired up just now. That's pretty much what I get at. In fact, I actually did a video today on my channel when I do a video from my car driving back and forth to work or errands or whatever, just to give people some extra content. I do a little live stream with whatever's going on in my mind. And today I talked about the coming wolf age. I know there's some debate around whether or not we are leaving the wolf age or whether we're going into the wolf age or what have you. I am on the side of I believe that we are about to leave the wolf age. However, that stuff doesn't matter. But what really matters is Mr. McNallen's right. We are heading towards a new dark age, and this dark age is very much because of our integration with technology. There's so many things that are coming that are going to be like, we're talking 20, 30 years from now, our lives will be unrecognizable from what they are today. It's going to be a complete evolution of how we operate and how we live in our lifestyles, and even down to our genetics. We're getting into gene editing and and we could get into all of that stuff. But the bottom line is Mr. McNallen's completely right. Here's the deal. Fear is a subjective feeling. Fear is created by you yourself. You project and you manifest fear in yourself. That our enemy's power over us is a complete illusion. Just like the dollar bill, for example. Everybody knows that the value of the dollar bill is completely subjective, as value is subjective as a whole with everything. It transcends and goes to everything. If everybody, or even say like 1/8 of the United States population said the United States dollar, the American note, no longer has any value to me, I now use gold pieces, that would crash and destroy the dollar because its value is completely illusionary. It exists only in our own minds. Keep that in mind moving forward. The power that our enemies have over us, the people that are coming after us, their power over us is really just illusionary. We are the people that have built aqueducts. We are the people that have climbed the highest mountains, sailed the furthest seas, and sailed into space. We've survived ice ages. We've survived plagues. We've survived persecutions. We've survived genocides. Everything, every catastrophe, cataclysm that you can think of in your mind throughout history, our folk have not only survived, but have thrived. This is nothing compared to some of that stuff. Think about the bubonic plague. Think about the last ice age. Think about all of these things. Think about all of the wars that have happened in recent times, in contemporary times, going back to ancient wars. We survived. Go look at the history of the Middle Ages. It wasn't like it is now. Back in the Middle Ages, and even back further, the Bronze Age, the Iron Age, man, at any time your village could be raided, and you had to stand up and you had to fight, and you would possibly die. A lot of people died, and death was part of life. Fear was part of life. Survival was part of life. We live in these nice little air-conditioned rooms. We have our internet. We have our modern medicine. We have all of this stuff. Despite this, we are fighting a great enemy. We are fighting a great scourge. We are coming up into an age of darkness and confusion. Actually, we're already in an age of darkness and confusion. However, do not let that get you down. Like Mr. McNallen said, remain cheerful. What is the whole story about Ragnar Lothbrok when before King Aella threw him in the pit of snakes, and Ragnar laughed at him? Yeah, he laughed at him, and Aella said, "Why are you laughing?" He said, "Well, if I laugh at you, that means you've never defeated me." And that's absolutely true. What enrages people more than anything? When they are a joke. Because whether or not you respect them or you fear them, that gives them a position of power that makes them feel like they have power, that ensures them that they have power over you. If you laugh, you have just robbed them of all of their power. Stay cheerful, even in dark times. And keep in mind that our ancestors survived and fought and thrived in conditions that were far worse than what we have now.
Consider your audience. You've got to consider your audience. That's what he said. That was the main point of the whole recording there, is what he said relates to me very much so, because I am like Dave, not Stephen, like Dave said, I am very much an edgelord, not a try-hard edgelord, I just be. I just be, however you say it. But that relates to me in one particular circumstance, because I made a recording quite a while ago and I cut quite a bit out of it because I was told to by Freya, whether you believe it or not. Just like Steve McNallen says, he's had his experiences with Voltan, and whether you believe it or not, he knows for a fact they're not archetypes, they're absolutely real. So I made the recording and I was pondering whether to keep this in or not. This big section where I went off. I was radical, I was fucking vile, I was offensive. Oh, I went over the top. And I hope I still have the recording saved somewhere, because if not, then if I delete it, shit. but I decided to meditate on it instead. I edited most of the video, then I decided to meditate on this and seek Freya's counsel, let's say. And so what she said was quite enlightening, and it was pretty much exactly what Stephen McNowan said before I ever started listening to any of his, well, certainly before I listened to that video, long before I heard that video. I only started listening to Stephen McNowan's like archives of content a week or two after I was binging on the Asatru Focus Energy stuff. So it was like a thing that came full circle once I heard Stephen McNowan say pretty much exactly what Freya told me. It was like, oh, now I see what you meant. Now I see why you told me that. Yes. So what she told me, if I can fucking remember exactly, is that she said, while it is amusing, and yes, Lord Odin finds what you said amusing, but I don't think it would be wise to keep these parts in your video if you're trying to reach more people, trying to bring more people, trying to represent the gods in a respectful way. And I said to her, well, she finished speaking, and I said to her, well, all right, if you say so. And she told me, well, I said, if you say so, I'll take the parts out, though I thought they were pretty funny. And she, like, interrupts me, sort of. She's like, oh, no, don't get me wrong. It's very funny. It's very funny. And I have no problem with the way you're speaking myself. I have no problem with your video myself. Look. Fuck me. Bloody hell. She said, bloody hell. See? I have no problem with this, and Lord Odin finds you very amusing. But I think it is best, I think it is for the best if you do remove this section, just so you can reach more people. And she finished speaking. Make that clear now, that's the end of her speaking. So, I'm very much recalling and paraphrasing what she said. She said basically that. I wish I had written down exactly what she said, but I hardly tend to do that because I'm an idiot. I really should do that. But that's the gist of what she said. Especially the fuck me, bloody hell. And you might find that unbelievable, but later, much later, someone left a comment talking about a translation of the Lokasana, I think it was, at least the Poetic Ada, or the Poetic Ada and or the Lokasana, but I know he mentioned the Lokasana. There was a guy who did a very accurate translation, but he had to change the word that they were using, this particular one word, to something else to not offend his audience because it would be far too offensive. Guess what that word was? Faggot. Yeah, in the Locus Senna especially, the gods were calling Loki a faggot. Many times. A faggot and all sorts of other words, but especially faggot. But the guy that did the translation, the word was faggot, but he changed it to sissy, because the word sissy is far less offensive than faggot. And he did it for the audience that he was catering to. So if you didn't believe me 2 minutes ago, now maybe you do. And what else did I want to get at? What else did I want to get at? Something Dave said. Fuck. Now I'm not sure what it was. He was talking about... I'm just gonna go fucking look what he said again. Oh yeah, that was it. Laughing at your enemies. Ragnar laughed at it when he was thrown in the snake pit. Well, if I'm laughing, that means you never defeated me. They hate it when you laugh at them. Nothing infuriates them more. What have I been seen doing over and over and over again, either to people's content, people's opinions that I'm making fun of in my videos, or in the comment sections themselves? What do you see me doing quite often? Oh, but I'm a lunatic, right? I'm emotional, I'm out of my mind, I'm unstable, dude, I'm unstable. No, apparently I've got the wisdom to know better. And so I know better than people like Maltheist, people like Hitlerist, people like insert random letters for their name here. A name just made of random letters. Apparently, I naturally know better than you. And when I laugh at anybody's comments, maniacally, like, I don't know, like this, my evidence proves me right about Arianism, paganism, and the horror that Christianity really is. You're a Jewish slave, bitch! 13 is unlucky, right? How wrong were you and your faggot friends, huh? Celtic and Norse consider 13 a lucky number. They don't know shit. You don't know shit. Apparently, I'm doing the right thing in my maniacal laughter, in my lunacy. Apparently, I had the wisdom to know that all along. And idiots like you are nothing. There is hierarchy. There is better and worse. If you're one of the people in my comment sections calling me insane and a lunatic and unstable because I laugh at you, you're missing the point.
You're missing the point.
Oh yes, and I'm insane, right? I'm unstable because I laugh at you. Because I laugh at you for your stupidity, huh? That makes me unstable and emotional. Oh yeah, despite the fact that Stephen McNally literally calls emotional and spiritual the same fucking thing. So apparently I'm very spiritual because I'm emotional. Well, then you're not wrong. I am emotional. I am emotional because I'm spiritual, dickhead. But I'm unstable, right? Yes, okay. I'm insane. I'm a maniac. I'm in my little dungeon maniacally planning schemes. Yes, I'm a lunatic. Okay, you call me a lunatic? You call me unstable? Or no, I'm emotional, right?
Now I'm Super Vegito! Yeah, and...
I'm still going to laugh at you anyway. I'm still going to laugh at you anyway. So what does it matter? And I know. Frenzy has to be balanced with wisdom. Yeah, I know that. It doesn't change the fact that all of you are idiots when you're criticizing me about being about being unstable or a maniac or emotional. You think Odin's not emotional? And you know what I was saying before about considering your audience. I even have to do that with pictures I use. Like if I use, I don't know, that Freya. Oh, it's a goddess. Oh, it's a female. Oh no, it's a female. But I don't know, for some people even worse. Oh, it's a goddess. He worships a goddess. Oh, men aren't supposed to worship goddesses. Women aren't supposed to worship gods. Especially men shouldn't worship goddesses. Yeah, if you're one of those idiots who think it's bad to worship a goddess, Asatru Folk Assembly, Matt and Spawn, they both said, you're a child if you think that way. Now, I can't find the clip where they said that, and I've spent way too long looking for it, and I'm not spending any more time looking for it. You'll just have to take my word on that. That they did say in some clip somewhere that if you think men can't worship goddesses and women, well, if you think men can't worship goddesses, then you're a child. And there's a whole thing about how Freya is most comfortable to men's prayer. And that a lot of men pray to Freya and a lot of women pray to Odin. It's not some black and white men for the gods and women for the goddesses thing. Never has been. And I think I'm done. Oh, I forgot. One more thing. No. I mean, it literally says in the lore, when describing Freya, that she is most comfortable to men's prayer. It actually says it in the lore. So, you're completely fucking wrong. Completely fucking wrong. And I'm going to laugh at you about it. Sapiens!
Hey, why are you laughing?
It isn't working.
You're on second thought, fighting you amateurs would be too much of a joke. So here's what I think we should do. You seem to have unresolved issues. I say you two fight for an exhausting amount of time, and then I'll take on what's ever.
Quiet!